I think there are not many destinations that can compete with what Antalya has to offer. There are 7 kilometers of beach right inside the city.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And then all the history. So many civilizations have been in Antalya. So the Greek, the Romans, the Lycian civilization.
Is that like a real piece of history just sitting there, or is that?
I don't know. It came with the space. I mean,
That's so crazy.
this year we're gonna take a private boat because there is a famous ancient city, the sunken city of Kekova. Each chapter we see friendships are starting, sometimes relationships, sometimes partnerships in business, these kind of things. It's about community and how often this word is misused. We all talk about community or connect or this and that, and 95% of co-working spaces, there's no community.
Yeah, that's very true.
And they're confusing community with offering events.
I'm here with the partner at Nomads and Wonderlands and founder of Co-working Antalya, Alex. And maybe just to start, what's kind of your origin story as a digital nomad? I know now you're doing marketing coaching, you are doing business coaching, sales coaching, as well as Co-working Antalya. But how did this all start for you?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of a serial entrepreneur, I would say by now. Like a lot of us, I always have a lot of new ideas and things I want to execute. When I was doing 10, 12 years ago, I was doing things online. I learned about this digital nomad lifestyle, and that was kind of appealing to me. Except that at some point I met somebody who I started a business with in Belgium, and because of her circumstances, we were kind of locked into Belgium, and so at that time they couldn't work for me, but still I got in touch with the digital nomad world. So I came to Chiang Mai, and
was that your
I met
first
a lot
location?
of people. Yeah, that was my first location, but I just came for a month, and it was just a month of remote work.
Yeah.
Because I had this online sales training company that I started with that partner, and we could do that remotely, but there were other reasons that were holding us back in Belgium. I'm originally myself from Netherlands, but so I tasted from it in Chiang Mai, and from there I wanted to come back the next year, and then I did a little stint in Barcelona and something in San Diego, and so I got a taste of it, and that is how it started actually.
That's it. And what year was this?
2016.
Okay, yeah, so pretty early, for the nomad movement.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And then, so what made you want to open up a co-working space? Actually, let me ask: did you decide to open up a co-working space, or did you fall in love with Antalya, or how did that happen?
Well, it's a big jump from 2016 to the co-working space because I opened that right after COVID. So that was 2022. I came to Antalya,
Right.
and it was just my next destination. And at that time, we were not sure yet whether COVID was over or not. So and Asia was not completely open yet. So I didn't want to travel to Asia. I wanted to be close to the family in case something would happen to them. And Turkey seemed kind of. A good destination, and it was wintertime. So where do you go wintertime around Europe? There are not many destinations. Canary Islands was an option.
Right.
I considered Egypt,
Malta.
but
something
Malta
like that.
already, and the other islands in the Mediterranean. They are so windy in the winter, and you would say some of them are a bit more southern than Antalya, but Antalya has a better microclimate, and so I figured that out quick, and I thought, okay, let's go there.
Nice.
So there was not really a plan. I just went to Antalya just as a next destination, and I never had a plan to open a co-working space. It came up jokingly once or
Really?
twice. Yeah. It came up jokingly like, oh, I should start a co-working space. And then I was in Antalya. I really liked it. It was wintertime, and this is all about expectations, when your expectations are very high, then sometimes it doesn't meet it.
Right.
And I didn't have any expectations
low
because,
expectations.
because I thought, and a lot of European people, they might share this idea. When you think about Antalya in Europe, we think about mass tourism because at the moment it's the #1 tourist destination in Europe.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was thinking like, yeah, probably too touristy for me. I don't know if I'm gonna like it. But it turns out that like they have 20 million tourists per year, but like 95% or more are all in the resorts, and they are in the region of
Right.
Antalya.
Right.
So when I'm talking about Antalya, I'm usually referring to the city where we are. And it turns out it has a lovely old town that is not overrun by tourists. Of course, there are tourists, like in any city. Europe has tourists as well,
Yeah.
but not even as many as big cities in Europe.
Yeah.
So the old town, I really fell in love with it when I came there. And I found out it was all the tourists are in the resort, so that was great. And I was also afraid because it was wintertime when I arrived in January. I was afraid, like, oh, most of the places and restaurants and bars, they will be closed. Nothing.
Ah.
Everything was open. Live music every night, all of Old Town.
That's-
It was alive and kicking.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
of Turkish people going out. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I really, really liked it coming there in the winter.
Yeah, that's true. It has a really good energy. You know, it's a lot of fun. There's kind of a lot going on. When did you actually start the co-working, or how did that actually?
Well, I arrived in January,
Yeah.
and there was a very small Nomad community. We're having a meetup at the beach once per week.
Okay.
So Antalya has a big beach inside the city. That's
Yeah.
also what makes it
Which is
unique.
very nice.
It's there are 7 kilometers of beach right inside the city,
Yeah.
and then there are on the other side there are the cliffs, and there are a lot of platform beaches down the cliffs. And we had once a week we had a meetup there, and one of the nomads there was saying, we should start a co-working. More jokingly as well, and he was in property. He was always looking for apartments there, and then he sent me an advertisement for a coffee shop where I sometimes went to work from. And there were not really good co-working options. There were co-working spaces, of course, but not for digital nomads and certainly
Yeah.
not with the community.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, this is for rent. We should have a talk. And then it started to live in my head. And we were going to talk
Yeah.
with that real estate broker. And we had a meetup there. And it was so disappointing.
Well, how so?
Yeah, because we thought it was kind of viable. The rent was not too high, but all the other conditions were super bad.
Yeah.
And they wanted us to pay like 12 months rent up front, and 6 months agency fee, and 3 months deposit. And it was crazy. You had to invest 50,000 euro just in rent,
Jeez.
for crazy.
Yeah.
We didn't even need to think about it. But because I was thinking about, all of a sudden, for no reason, we were talking about this place, and it started to live in my head. It was already, it started already in my
Yes.
head, and I had this idea about from all the destinations that I've been, wanted to combine all kind of things, and the core of it, I was excited about creating a community more than creating a co-working space. It was about the community.
Cool. So that vision is starting to happen.
Yeah.
A little bit, and then.
Yeah, because of that meetup, and then I was kind of disappointed how the meeting went, and I thought, okay, there must be other places that are within reach, and then I found this amazing space right in the middle of the old town, overlooking the marina, big terrace where we could work from, and I remember the first time I came up there, I was looking around, and I was like, what is this? This is insane.
You're not kidding. I mean, the first time I went there, I was like, I didn't realize it was that epic of a location. It is right in the heart of Old Town. It has epic, like, picturesque view. It's like exactly what like a digital nomad would be like. Actually, I couldn't even picture that because it's like historic
it's
harbor.
very hard to put it in a video or in a because it's never. Everybody keeps saying me like when they are there, it's much better than what they expect.
It's very true. And also, just the way the sun hits you have there's a very nice outdoor area by like a cliffside, and just the way the sun hits, but it's nice and windy outside, so it's really.
Once I found that place, basically, then the decision was made
Like,
because as I said, when I came to Antalya, I didn't have a plan for starting a co-working, but that place, I was like, I have to do something here. I cannot let this go. So the decision was made within a couple of days, and I found an agreement with the landlord pretty quick. Since then, we are struggling a bit with him, but in the beginning, everything went very easy, and he gave me the keys right away, and before I knew it, we were started, and I started building a community, and I never looked back.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that. Yeah. And so eventually, Camille, the other partner of Nomads in Wonderland, is looking for locations. You two kind of put your head together and say like, hey, can we kind of collaborate on this event? And then eventually you go on to actually partner. So how did that all go down?
Yeah, well, she came to me. We know each other for years already, and she came to me and said, "Yeah, I'm starting Nomads in Wonderlands, and yeah, I want to set up retreats for digital nomads. I was thinking, can we come to Antalya? Maybe we can do something together." I said, "Well, that's a coincidence. I also want to do some kind of retreats or workations. I've been thinking about that to attract more people to Antalya. That was my original idea, right? So." She came at the right time, and I just want to open that conversation as well. Yeah, then we sat together, and basically, yeah, I had some very specific ideas, and she had her input, and then we created like. Yeah, I would say a new format. You know, it was not a retreat. It's like a 1 month workation that I think is unique, that is different than all the rest that, that has been done before. Yeah, there are many things that sets us apart from others. And yeah, we just designed that together. And yeah, we planned that to do. Yeah, how long? Much longer? Like 9 months later, after we first sat together.
Yeah.
And or yeah, like about 9 months there was in between. Yeah, when it came to our mind, and we executed it.
Yeah.
And then we did the first time in Antalya, and we had more participants than we were hoping for.
Right.
I think we were 39 people, and yeah, that was really good for the first time. And the amazing thing was everybody loved it so much, and we got so much amazing feedback. And
it was an amazing group too. You know, it was really, we were really like family, you know, by the end of that too. So it was a really good group. Yeah.
And of course, for me, by that time, I was running Coworking Antalya already for 3 years.
Right.
So what I did, I put like all the highlights from those 3 years. I put together, squeezed it in that 1 month. So that helped.
Yeah.
Secondary, I don't know if we were lucky or we just brought together all the right people. I think we had a very grown-up group of people that had the right balance between work and being social and being nice to each other and still, you know, all the combination, all that worked amazing. But also I think that in those 3 years, I had a lot of experience with the community and what is working and what not. So I think a lot of that helped as well. And with Camille, you know, I didn't need many words. We were just on the same page about most things. And we just implemented all those lessons that I'd learned in 3 years co-working Antalya.
Yeah.
So not just for the activities, also just for how do you run a community and how do you keep a good vibe and how do you... So we implemented that as well, and we didn't have to discuss many of those things.
Yeah. Which it really did mesh. I remember like kind of partway through, you guys were like, actually, we're going to be like forming, this is going to be, we're going to be working together going forward, actually. And it was really cool.
Yeah, so that is how it happens, you know, and it worked so easily. You know, I was always saying like, yeah, it was an effortless collaboration.
Yeah.
And yeah, that I think the participants, they felt that as well. And yeah, and that is how we started. We said, okay, we should continue this collaboration beyond Antalya. And I had some contacts in Bansko, somebody that I was planning to do kind of a co-living kind of setup with. And then I said to me, well, why don't we make that into a Wonderland?
Yeah.
And that was only 2-3 months later. So that was the next one we did together.
Yeah.
And a lot of people want to join that as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people from Antalya came to there. A lot of new people came. And yeah, that's what got the ball rolling. I met somebody that was running a place in Morocco, and I said, okay, we can do something there. In the meantime, Camille was saying like, for Nomad destination, we both love Chiang Mai so much. We should plan one in Chiang Mai. So we planned it for January after, and you know, and this is what kept the ball rolling. And you know, we were both enthusiastic about setting that up because it was working so well.
Yeah. Nice. I'm curious, this is for me, I guess. How do you and Camille split up responsibilities for, you know?
Ideally, you want that you have, how do you say that? That you have skills that the other is complementing.
Right, complementary skills, you know.
I
I think you guys complement each other pretty well. I mean, there's been some like situations where like, you know, something has to be negotiated or something, or there's a brand, and you'll kind of come in and be like, hey, this is how you've been in Turkey for a while, so, you know, actually you're really good at that.
Yeah.
And Camille is very kind of a natural like host,
Yeah,
thing. So I
absolutely.
think it works together.
Oh
pretty well.
no, we do have complementary skills, but now we've been working together longer. I also see the things where we could improve, and that But the great thing about it is that we think alike very much, so that makes it easy to organize these things together, and people feel that, and
It's very noticeable.
and also I
Yeah.
think I don't know you've been in our chapter, several of our chapters, so I do think that when we organize something, when we set up something, it is well organized.
Yeah.
People can count on it that it's happening as it's announced, and it's
Right.
and of course you can never. There are always surprises when you're organizing things, especially when we do a Wonderlands. We have like 70 or 80 activities in a month. So that's a lot, and a lot of logistics comes to it. And sometimes, you need to be flexible with all the surprises that you find. But I think unlike other a similar kind of setup, workations or retreats or whatever. We plan all those things, and people don't need to bother about it, because I know that there are workations where they just say, the community manager comes and says, okay, let's sit all together. What do you want to do this week? And you set it up. Everybody has set it up themselves.
Right.
And we basically organize it all for them, and so people can focus on their work, and basically your program after work and in the weekend, it is there.
Yeah.
And we are well organized. We have an app where everything is announced, and people can rely on that. And that's the feedback I get a lot. People appreciate that. And
Very much.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was in Antalya 2025 for that Wonderland, I was very, very busy. I was working at a busy startup, and I didn't have time to think. And so all I had to do was open up the app and okay, I'm going to go to this thing tomorrow. Done. It was very, very.
These are all things, without running co-working Antalya for those 3-4 years, I could not have done that, because I was using that app already for the co-working, and I was used to setting up. We had in the co-working events almost every day. I was used to it. The difference with Nomads and Wonderlands is just that we have many more events, and with that we put all the awesome events all together in 1 month.
Right. That's a good segue. Like, what do you think makes Antalya such a great destination for Nomads and Wonderlands?
I think there are not many destinations, even in the world, that can compete with what Antalya has to offer. Because, first of all, Nomads like when it's affordable, well, check. The people are very friendly, check. We have an amazing location in the center of Old Town, which is cute, which has an amazing view, a fast internet, check. So all of that you have. But then we're in a city with all the amenities that you can think of. You want to go to the cinema, into English-speaking movie, no problem, you can get it. There's theater, there's professional sports, you want to do sports yourself, everything you can do. It's a city of more than 1 million people. At the same time, right outside the city, the mountains are starting. People don't even know, because the tourism board of Turkey doesn't want you to know that. There's a ski resort just outside Antalya. In the winter, you can ski there. People don't even know that. But because it is like this beach destination, that is the image that they want to sell, right? But the mountains are right there, so it's great for hiking. There's so much nature, waterfalls, it's amazing. And then all the history. I mean, there has been so many civilizations that have been
come through
there in Antalya. So, of course, the Greek, obviously, the Romans, but the Lycian civilization, and many, many others. There's so much history. You cannot visit all the amazing sites that you find there.
There's even this is a personal question. Mm-hmm. In the co-working Antalya, deck on the outdoor area, there's like a Greek column just sitting there. That's like at the bottom. Is that like a real piece
on the terrace?
Yeah. Is that like a real piece of history just sitting there, or is that?
I don't know. It came with the space. I mean,
that's so crazy.
It's maybe good to tell. We are right under the ancient city wall, right?
Yeah.
So I do know the city wall is. You can also see that it's built in 2 stages. So the lower stage was built in the Roman times.
Yeah.
So this is 2,000-year-old city wall. And then later in the Ottoman times, they added something to it. But that column that you're referring to, I'm not sure if that is a real...
Okay. I mean, either way,
but it was there, and it's too heavy to move. And,
it's way too heavy to move.
So...
That's cool. Shifting gears a little bit, like how did you pick locations like Morocco, or how did that come about? Or I guess maybe because I didn't go to Morocco, so what was that one like, maybe compared to Antalya, or how did it differ?
Well, we had a different vibe there because we had less participants than normal. So I think one of the things that makes our Workation stand out is that we tend to we are aiming for like 30, 40 participants maybe. Before we were doing that, people were thinking, yeah, maybe that's a lot. But we find that it's really working really well because we have a community and it is, people start referring to it as a family, and it's
Yep.
but there are enough people that there are always people in the group that you connect more to. So at the same time, we keep this community vibe for bring everybody together. And we are quite easy, I think, with that. You know, we don't have like many forced rules or so. But having this amount of people, it allows us to organize the number of activities that we're offering. So, and then we did Morocco, and we chose from Morocco for an amazing accommodation that we had there, and co-working, and pool and bar and everything, all the amenities we had there. And that was actually the reason that we had a good contact with this guy who was actually from Poland and who was running that there in Morocco. And we thought, okay, we should do this. This is an opportunity because I know a lot of people go there. And most of the people that are organizing something in Morocco is our surf retreat, right? Well, I'm not into surfing. I was keen to try it once, but I thought, probably I will not continue. But so we didn't want to do a surf retreat, but still we came into this surf town, Imsouane, and since we had this compound there where we set up our Wonderlands, people could go to surf. So we did a group surf lesson at the beginning, and then people could choose to take their individual lessons. Often they were going with a couple of people. But then we had all our usual Wonderland activities, and that made it work very well. But what was different was that usually we, like in Antalya, for sure in Antalya, and on most of our destinations, people have a choice of what they do. They find their own accommodation because we are not. You don't have to take our suggestion. We are not a co-living. Sometimes we have co-living options. And in Morocco, it was kind of a co-living setup. But still, some people choose to stay outside of the accommodation. And we like, if it's possible, we like to give that option as well.
Yeah. I think it's nice that you have that kind of flexibility.
Yeah. And we ended up with a little bit less, under 20 people there. And I saw that the dynamics were different. It was good somehow, but also, I do like when we have the bigger group because it gives so much more opportunities. And I saw myself now with sometimes, and this is when you go to a retreat with 10 people or so. Let's say they want to go hiking on Saturday and you have work to do on Saturday. Right. They will come join us for the hike, and you know how it is, and they're forcing you. And normally in Wonderlands, we don't do that so much because, I think work comes first and there are so many activities you can pick from. Yeah. And we will have a great time anyway, even if you cannot make it. And that's a bit the idea, We see it as a buffet. We don't want to force people. Everybody is mature enough to make their own choices. Yeah. And now I saw myself as well, because we had less people with some of the activities. Come join us. We had volleyball organized on the beach, and then come join us for but but we need some people too, because if you don't have enough people in volleyball, you cannot really play.
Can't play.
And it's So that was different. I would want to aim for more people again in the other destinations.
Nice. Yeah, I was talking to Camille about it, and it's like, Antalya was like a big family, and then kind of, Morocco is probably a more tight-knit, smaller type family. So
Yeah, on the other hand, yeah, I really got close with some people there, so there's also to say something for that.
Yeah.
But I think that happens anyway. In each chapter, we see friendships are starting, sometimes relationships, sometimes
Yeah, those.
partnerships in
Yeah.
business, these kind of things. But friendships happen anyway, and you meet enough people to find some people that you really click with.
Yeah.
And
One of
it
the
is, and what I like about it, don't know if Camille, as the rest is in another episode of your podcast, but what I like about this is you get to know people in different ways because we are not a business retreat or a wellness retreat, or so you get to know people. We have a mastermind where we might talk about business, or there are unconference sessions where this kind of professional topics come forward. But at the same time, at the end of the day, you're playing sports together, and the next day you're going for a party together,
Right.
and you're having lunch together, you have dinners together, these kind of things. So you do yoga together. So you meet each other in completely different setups. We have sessions like Real Talk where we discuss like deeper topics that are often relating to your past or your beliefs or your values,
Yeah.
things like that. You get to know each other on another level. And because you do that on professional and personal level, and you do all those fun things, and you do more serious things, you get to know people in a very different way.
Yeah. It's very balanced.
Yeah.
Too. A lot of fun, a lot of like deeper things that I do think this is something that I would normally be like, that sounds like whatever, that's not my thing. But I do think I would encourage anybody to go to these things and kind of hear people out. The unconference, for instance, somebody might kind of say something or like, oh, actually, that's pretty, you do kind of grow a little bit in that sense. So, too, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yesterday I joined you guys a little bit in the end for the improv
Oh,
night.
yeah.
Improv not really my thing, and I've tried that before. But okay, in the end, was
think you
fun.
had a good time,
I
yeah.
did a few exercises with you all, and and that's the thing because it's your people that are there. You're hanging out with these people. You want to give it a try, or
Yeah.
We always had a lot of people into yoga. So in some of the chapters, yoga has a place. It really depends on the group as well.
Right.
And then I'm also more keen into, okay, let me join the session as well. And I think it's with many things like that.
Yeah.
And you get to know, and that's my point, you get to know each other on a different level. And I miss that sometimes while I'm nomading. And you don't want to do this all the time, most people. It's also really cool to go to destinations on yourself but I think this mix to be able to meet these people and to get closer and to get these real connections in Wonderlands, I think that is really cool. And then, I like to go to other destinations on my own as well. The combination is cool.
It's absolutely true in that when I was a newer nomad, I did not understand the importance of community. I had the freedom to go wherever I wanted, and maybe I met some people at a meetup and stuff, but I really didn't understand what was missing until I got to something where in that same scenario like Nomads and Wonderlands, where you have people that you can talk with every day about what's going on. You can talk about business, you can talk about deeper things, and they're not just coming and going. We're all kind of in it together too. So yeah.
If there's one thing that I learned from starting co-working Antalya and then later Nomads and Wonderlands as well, it's about community and how often this word is misused. So in the in the co-working space, like go to any co-working website and they all talk about community or connect or this and that. And 95% of co-working spaces, there's no community.
Yeah, that's very true.
And they're confusing community with offering events. So even networking events or so, that doesn't mean connection and community.
Yeah.
And so then they're offering network events and you exchange business cards. Or that is, it's not community. It is not making real connections. And I see that in the co-working spaces happening all the time. And that's why it's good that there are some of these digital nomad co-workings that are really focused on this subgroup of people and that are really bring people together.
Yeah.
And I think that in the end, that is what we do in Nomads and Wonderlands. But in the Nomad world, I see it a bit as well, that they confuse organizing activities or events with having real community.
Yeah.
It's not the same. Because if I go to a popular place like, I don't know, Canary Islands or Madeira or Chiang Mai or Bali, there are plenty of activities, and I can attend like 5 activities per week, but I can still feel lonely.
Yeah.
And I
That's
think
a fair way
that
to put
happens
it.
a lot because a lot of nomads, they meet a lot of people during their travels, but
Yeah.
it's always short-lived and it never goes deep. And that's the
Very
thing.
shallow connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you might go to a language exchange, like you're there for a month, you might go 4 times, but you only meet each other at the language exchange. Okay, maybe you meet one nice person, you have a few dinners with it.
Yeah.
And it's cool for that month. It will satisfy your social cravings for that month.
Yeah.
But very often it's not going much deeper. Very often I say, of course, I think it also depends on how good you can make friends yourself. But not everybody is really good in it. And it's also, yeah.
Yeah. I think we do have a nice mix of like introvert and extrovert people too. We have different people from that are just kind of coming almost as a temporary nomad, kind of like on a sabbatical. We have people that I've been doing this for, 10 years. So we have people from everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think you're right in that there's a lot, especially in the digital nomad or the co-working space community. There's a lot of like, oh, if you make tea next to the guy next to you, that's community. And it's like, it's not really, so much. But I think one thing that also separates is like, you guys don't put on just events. There are kind of like weekly rituals, right? Like, do you have, like, my favorite is family dinner, because that kind of glues the whole thing together a little bit, in that we're planning for the week and we're talking about, maybe some things that, worked really well. Some things we're like, maybe we won't do that event anymore because people aren't interested in it. But did you have a favorite kind of, Nomads and Wonderlands ritual or,
Well, you were mentioning the family dinner. I think it's good to tell maybe like the family dinner, and usually most of the activities like the day trips and excursions we do in the weekends. Those are our core events. That's how we see it, and we invite people as much as possible to join that. And that is where we bring usually most of the group together, and then all the other activities that we offer, that is usually aimed at a smaller part of the group.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, we have somebody who is hosting, because participants are also hosting things, right?
Right.
So we have somebody hosting creative writing workshop. Yeah, but he gets consistently 5, 6, 7 people joining that. And there's interest for that as well. And so it is nice that those things also can have a place. So for me personally, that was your question. What I like, I think it's still the real talk. Because we take an hour every week, at least an hour we plan. And because I got to know people much better, even people that I know for years. Like Camille, I know for years and years, and we've been doing many things together. But prompted by the questions that came up there, we've been telling about ourselves, about our family, about our history, about our feelings. And we are quite grounded. It's just we are not like, okay, go meditate and feel deep inside. It's not like that. It is just like with real questions, real topics that come up, and then everybody can chime in and share their own thing. For me, this is, I think, my favorite event because I got to learn so many people better than I ever thought in different ways. It opens up different conversations.
Yeah. Nice. I like that. Do you have a favorite story about, maybe a Wonderland event, or maybe somebody that came into Wonderland, something happened that kind of came out of the event different,
Favorite story? I don't know. I don't have one.
You can circle back.
Favorite story. I think, I often ask, of course, to the participants what their favorite events and things are from Wonderlands. And usually most people mention like the day trips that we make and the excursions, and because I think they are nice also. We tend to not do that with tour agencies, and like in Antalya, that's very easy, and in Chiang Mai as well, because we know so many people, we have all the contacts. And so we organize all of that ourselves. So maybe, like last year in Antalya, for example, we had a day trip to Sida, and Manavgat was on the program.
Oh.
And you didn't come?
I'm trying to think of what was it called?
Yeah, Sida.
Maybe not.
I
I
think-
remember
I think
Olympus was my
yeah.
it was like probably one of my favorite days of the whole year.
Yeah, Olympus
Was
is
seeing
also
Olympus.
amazing in
Yeah,
Antalya.
I mean, that was
So I think we did that as an extra one of the days in the weekends, and we organized that as an extra. And then Sida is also very well known for the excavations and the history it has. And there's a famous Apollo temple. And people take pictures of that, especially at sunset, because you have the back view of the Mediterranean, and that's the reason why people go there. And we were just hanging in the old town there and walked around and had a coffee, and then went to the beach and we were chilling on the beach. So there were participants of us. They were like, then we started to talk about this temple, like. A temple? What temple? Apollo? Which Apollo? And some of the group, no, I want to go back, and because I want to see. Now I still didn't see it. I want to go. And the other half of the group was there a temple, and then they found out that we just passed the temple. They didn't even notice the temple, and everybody, all those tourists, they are coming there, and we. Yeah, that sometimes happens. We had a really great day. The weather was really good. We started swimming in the sea, and yeah,
nice. I do remember that day, and I had massive FOMO about it. I do remember that now. So, but that's a good segue into. I mean, Antalya is probably going to be on the roster or on the schedule, every year, or whatever. I mean, what's coming up for 2026 for?
Yeah.
What can we be excited about?
Well, that's one of the things that makes Antalya unique, There are so many things you can do there, so we could easily come up with different things than last year that are probably as great or greater. So one of the things that we're going to this year is Paradise Bay. And that is near the excavation of ancient harbor town Phaselis.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
And yeah, Paradise Bay, it has that name for a reason, right? So that is really cool. So that will be a kind of a hike that we will do there. Not too long. Last year we had a good mix between like very easy hikes and really serious ones.
Yeah.
So this will be a really easy hike, and then you can chill at the sea, and you get all that history from Phaselis. So I think that is one of the highlights this year. What we're gonna do. Also, last year we visited Taze Canyon. I don't know if you remember that. That was like in the mountains, and this river is going there between. There's a massive canyon, and we tried to reach a famous viewpoint of the canyon, but at some point we got stuck, and our buses couldn't continue. Still, we had a very good viewpoint of the river there. And it's an amazing area, but it's very big. But I have good contacts with somebody who was running kind of a campground with a big cabin. And now this year we're going to have a full weekend there. So we're going to go into the mountains on Sunday morning, and we're going to come back on Saturday morning, and we're going to come back on Sunday evening. Yeah. And so we will stay overnight in that cabin, and we will do. There are a lot of adventurous things that we can do, but we will be hiking, and we will be rafting on the water. We will do zip lining. We will probably rent some buggies or quads to go around. And so we will discover in different ways. We will do barbecue there on our campground there. Probably make a little bit of party. And then we sleep all together in the cabin there, and then cook a breakfast in the next morning. And it's right next to the water, to the river. And they have this like a rope where you can jump from the cliffs into the river. It's really cool. It's really cool. So I'm really looking forward to that one, especially because it is like a real weekend that we'll be spending there.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be one of the highlights for sure as well.
Nice.
And then last year we did the boat trip as well, right? Remember the boat trip?
Yes. Yeah. Well, we got the Roman. They all have like different themes on the harbor.
The big
right?
Roman boat,
the Roman
and
boat, really cool.
The co-working. It is in the old town, overlooking the marina of the old town.
Yeah.
So the boats are literally like 20 meters, 50 meters away from where you might be working.
Yeah.
And of course, we rented one of those boats. That was our private boat for the day. And we did a full day boat tour around Antalya. And we went to the famous waterfalls that are ending up in the Mediterranean. So that makes it kind of special. That's
very cool.
These waterfalls that are
cool.
ending up in the sea. You don't see that often. So that was a cool day. But this year, I think, going to be better because this year we're going to not take one of the boats in our marina where the co-working is. This year we're gonna go a bit further, and we're gonna take a boat, also private boat, but from another marina, because there is a famous ancient city, the sunken city of Kekova.
I'm very
So
interested in this.
Like if we're talking about excavations, this city, it has sunken, and there is all these pillars and remains of the old buildings. They are underwater, so you can snorkel around from the boat, and you can discover all those things there. So apart from that area is also very beautiful with natural caves and small little beaches, very green, so that's a very nice day in nature. On the water.
The water's beautiful too. I mean, the water's that turquoise Mediterranean, so nice. I remember that last trip we did. I was like, I could do this every weekend because you notice that it's cool because most of the coast is cliff, and so they have these giant elevators that go down in like different sections. So I was like, you could go to a different beach every weekend and still not see all of that. So.
I mean, I'm 4 years in Antalya now. I've definitely not been to all the beaches.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get there soon. Well, cool. Well, where should people go if they want to learn more about Nomads and Wonderlands?
If they want to learn more, they should go to nomadsandwonderlands.com. And, I'm aware that many people might be listening now that now we're talking about the Antalya chapter that is coming up now. But if they go to the website, they can see whatever chapters are coming up. So sometimes we didn't open bookings yet, and then they can subscribe to the newsletter. Or sometimes we open a WhatsApp group. I can really recommend if you see that if that's happening for one of the destinations to do that. If they are watching or listening to this podcast now, beginning of 26, they might still be in time for booking Antalya. Well, everything is on the website there. So that's nomadsandwonderlands.com. And I think all the information is there. And I can recommend to sign up for the newsletter anyway, because we have a promotion running for a discount on the Antalya chapter. So if people are keen to find out, they should do that. And I think then you have a really competitive price. And I think that is the best way to start from there. And if there are any questions, they can always reach us.
There you go. Absurd value, I think, for the price, personally. So
you should raise the price, right?
Of course. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Make sure you subscribe to the newsletter then, if to get the discount. Yeah. But cool. We'll wrap it up there.
Okay.
And look forward to more Nomads and Wonderlands.